Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're looking at a pretty big Friday night slate here tonight, Nate. Going to have some fun with this one, talking Philadelphia 76ers headed to Dallas, take on the Mavs. Nate does have his great article up on playpicks.com as well with some best bets and player props for you in there. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Got a couple other videos for you tonight. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or a DraftKings account, head to FDPicks.com or DKPicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, we are recording this on Thursday night, so we're getting a good taste of what opening lines are like. The total actually just went live for this game at 210, Philly at Dallas right now. Basically a pick 'em line, Philly getting a point, depending on what book you're using there. So some intriguing betting options if you're still getting that line when this airs or when you watch it tomorrow. There are 8 other games on this Friday night slate. And as it opens, we have Celtics -8 at Detroit, the Bulls -2 at the Pacers after losing in overtime in Toronto on Thursday. Cleveland is +5 at Charlotte. They're struggling without Darius Garland. Those Raptors are back in action again, 5th game in 7 nights. They're -2 against the Hawks at home. Atlanta managed to beat the Suns there and their win streak on Thursday. Rockets are +3 at San Antonio, a ridiculous 240 total there. The Pelicans +5.5 at Denver. We will break down the Nets, who are +5 at Utah in our other video here tonight. And then the Thunder +7.5 at Portland, despite the fact they just beat Portland. But that is a discussion for another day. Philadelphia, I mean, to simplify it, they don't really lose 2 in a row. They certainly, I mean, they have the best record in the NBA since Christmas still at 15-4. Maybe the Suns have them there. Maybe the best record in the East, but they have not had successive losses now in months. And there 2 of those 4 losses are to Washington, which just seems to have their number for some reason. So they're coming off a loss. That's definitely good news if you want to back the Sixers. It's also good news if you want to expect points. They've covered in 5 straight after a loss, and they've gone over in 4 straight after a loss, averaging 114 to hold up their end of the bargain. There, Embiid has gone off in his last 2 after a loss. One of those was that ridiculous 50 points in 27 minutes game. And in his last 3 against Dallas, he's averaging nearly 31 points per game on very efficient splits, 44, 46, 94%, 40% usage rate. He is a +20 in those games. Philly has won the last 2 by double digits over Dallas. Kristaps Porzingis did not play in either of those games, and Kristaps is shut down right now with a knee issue, as is Tim Hardaway Jr., which had a very strange initial effect here for the Mavs in that they're scoring a lot more points per game without THJ, who is someone you'd think of as crucial to their offense, just a great shooter, also great slasher and guy who can attack the rim. But they're scoring more, and their defensive rating has gone way up as well. They've actually gone over in 5 straight, which is strange for a Mavs team that had been under machines. They've gone under in 13 of their previous 14, but in that 5-game span, averaging nearly 116 points per game, hitting 14.5 triples at a high clip. And they're second in offensive rating over their last 4 now. So up to 25th in pace, which is, for Dallas, pretty fast. So I think this is a very exploitable total at 210. The way Philly's been scoring 112 since Christmas, the way Dallas has been scoring lately, you can't really stop Luka Doncic. You definitely can't stop Embiid without Porzingis or anyone down low to deal with him at all. So I think that's my starting point, is to take the over, but I also feel really confident in Philly winning this game just because they haven't lost consecutive games recently, and Dallas has actually gone on a loss 2 or 3 in a row 7 different times this season. They just lost to Orlando and OKC. They just gave up 120 points to the Thunder, who ranked dead last in points per game. So I think Philly will be able to have their way here in terms of scoring, and that should help get us over the total. But more importantly, get Philly the win that I'm sure they want to get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see the mid-season NBA motivation that you want to look there at times. I see it for both teams, to be honest. But I do like the idea of Embiid being more unstoppable. Against a Dallas team that definitely struggles, especially when Kristaps is not playing to guard the paint and guard down low. Not that really it matters right now with whomever is trying to guard Embiid. He's just too big and skilled right now. So feel really good about taking him consistently, but and backing him when he's in. I mean, look, the 76ers, with him this season, 27-12 straight up, and then 4-8 without him. Pretty big enough sample size there to also look at the splits for this team when he does play versus when he doesn't. Right, when he does play, they're shooting about 50% from the field and about 36% from deep, and then without him, just basically subtract about 5 percentage points from all of those, and obviously their offensive rating goes down as well. So yeah, it's interesting that normally we look at a Dallas game at home, and even at 210 you go might take the under, but everything right has been going over for them of late, especially since Luka came back and got healthy, and has been obviously back into form. He had 40 the other night against Oklahoma City. That was pretty surprising, as we both thought that there was some unders possible there with, hopefully what we were thinking was going to be a choppy, slow game. And you mentioned the team who scores the least amount of points in the league handling business and getting 120 against them and beating Dallas at home. That's the reason I say that, once again, the motivation is kind of there for both teams. But yeah, I think right now in terms of, Philly on the road as well is something you really like to see, especially when they're road dogs, 9-4, against the spread when they're road dogs. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em at this point, as you mentioned, but I think we're getting plenty of value for a Philadelphia team that I do think, when Embiid is on the floor, he makes everything click. And, we often, use Tobias Harris as a punching bag around everywhere in sort of NBA media and pundits, if you will. But, as of late, Tobias has been just as important to them. When Embiid missed the game the other night, him and Maxey came in and beat the Grizzlies together. Then Tobias followed that up again with another 30-point game, and he's also filling up obviously about 8 boards a game as well in his last 5. So that's what they need, and if that's going to be who they are, then they're a much better, deeper team right now than the Mavs, and I feel great. I mean, I would probably take them all the way down to about -2 if we by the time this video comes out, you see a bunch of money moving that way. To be honest, exactly.
Yeah, -2. Come on,
you would still have to move 3 points. Is my point,
Right,
I would still take it. Yeah.
I think we will see it closer to there. But yeah, I thought you were going to say something bold like 4 or 5 points.
3-point movement is still a decent amount, right?
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, if we're projecting a close game, and that's what odds makers are, the clutch rating is really what you want to go to here. And that being teams rating in the last 5 minutes of games that are within 5 points. Dallas is actually the worst team in the NBA at home in net rating in that situation. And Philly, surprisingly enough, is the second worst net rating at home, but the second best on the road. So when they're on the road, Joel Embiid embracing that heel mentality, always bringing it down the stretch. He is unstoppable. He will get to the line in those situations, and Dallas is not getting to the line very much at all. They're getting the 5th highest percentage of their points off threes during this streak here, and Philly is number 5 in 3-point D on the season. They held Dallas to 25% from 3 in the last meeting. That helped facilitate that 18-point win in Dallas. So I think they could actually run away with this one. But I think more likely it will be a close game down the stretch, and in which you just want to hitch your wagon to the MVP. You talk about finding motivation in the middle of the season. If Embiid was playing, a Bradley Beal Wizards team, if Bradley Beal was leading the MVP race like Luka Doncic is involved, at least I think it would be a different story. We did call that a couple games ago when Philly had, when they were facing somebody in the MVP race that Embiid brought it and he carried them to a win. And yeah, you just mentioned the numbers for Philly, very good when on the road, 30-12 when road favorites straight up since last year. So if it does swing that way, that's what you're looking at. They're 14-7 straight up against the West this year. Dallas is 5-11 against the spread when facing the East. So yeah, just pretty simple here. Even though Seth Curry is questionable with the back, I think Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, that's enough confidence for me to take Philly in this situation.
Yeah, no, 100% on that one. And, and unfortunately, we don't have a ton of props up right now for the 76ers. Well, there's a few up, but we won't know exactly how those close. I think, if you're looking at Embiid over 30 tonight, that's fine by me. 31.5 as we're looking at it right now for him. Feels kind of high in a game that I don't think it's going to necessarily blow out the water, blow right past 210 in terms of that total. I think it'll stay a little bit closer to that and definitely in the teens. So there's still not a ton of points to go around, but it does seem like a game where, based on how Dallas is defending the paint versus how it's defending everywhere else and who Embiid is and what this team is going to really, be playing through him a ton tonight. I think you feel good about him filling up a bunch of stats and definitely liking those rebounds as well. So that is all the time we have for you on this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. You can check out those other couple videos from us tonight. And until we see you next, happy betting.